Hi there, welcome to today's class. So today's class is going to be looking at some really nice releasing hip openers, and we're going to use these to just be able to release any tension, any tightness that we might have been holding in our bodies. So you might need to get some bits that might help you in your practice. You can grab a blanket if you've got a blanket. If you've got a belt, you can grab a belt. If you've got a block, you can grab a block, or anything that you can modify to use as that works absolutely fine as well. So we'll start off lying down on the floor. So we're going to allow ourselves to get nice and comfortable. So just taking a moment just to find that comfortable position. So lying down, and we might decide that it's more appropriate for the back to keep your legs bent. I might feel that the back feels okay, but it's actually all right to lengthen out the legs. And if you've lengthened out the legs, just let them relax, let your ankles fall out to the side. You let your palms maybe just turn up half up towards the sky, or if it's comfortable resting on the belly, then you can allow them to rest there. So taking a moment just to tune in, to check in with how we're feeling today. So it's a really nice class where we're going to use the poses, hip openers, and we're going to also use our breathing practice to release any tension, any tightness. So we might be feeling that with our change of routine at the moment, that we might be feeling a little bit tight around the hips. We might be sitting for more periods of time. We might not be going out as much as we're used to. So hopefully these postures today are going to help you to relax. So let your shoulders soften, let your face soften. And take a moment just to notice how your hips are actually feeling today. Without judging, just simply be aware of what they feel like. You might feel that you have a difference in one hip to the other, and differences are absolutely fine. So hip openers are seen as, they're very releasing in a way that sometimes we hold tension, tightness. We can, when we get scared, when we get nervous, when we get anxious, we can sometimes grip the body a bit, and we find that sometimes goes around the hips area. So I'm going to read you out something really nice from the Journey of the Heart, one of the books that I often bring to class to read to. And it's about being able to relax. So it says, love yourself enough to relax. Our bodies react to the world around us and within us in many ways. Our bodies act like sponges. They can soak up healing energy, or they can absorb and trap the negative energy of stress and tension. Some of us are so used to keeping our bodies tense and bound up, we don't even notice how much they hurt, how strained and how tight our muscles are. Connect with your body. Learn to tell how tense it is. Take a few moments throughout the day to see what hurts, what aches, what muscles are being strained. Although tension can affect the entire body, many of us have favourite places in our body to store stress, places that usually become tense, rigid and full of aches. Become familiar with your body and where it stores stress and tension. Then learn how to relax. Explore different options, maybe meditation, maybe soaking in a hot bath, maybe sitting quietly and reading, maybe exercise or visualisation. Take time to do activities that bring you pleasure. If you make the effort to explore relaxation techniques, you will find ways to relax that you like and can afford. So we're just going to focus a little bit on breathing now. This is a really nice way where we're going to focus on working towards extending the breath, which helps us to relax more. So just take your attention to your breath and just notice what that feels like for a few moments. Just gently following your own natural rhythm of your breath. And then when it feels good, slowly start to breathe in and out through the nose. not straining the breath, just keeping everything relaxed. And just watching that inhale, watching the exhale. And you're going to spend a few moments here just tuning in, just being with that breath. Just following what each inhale feels like and what each exhale feels like. So if it feels okay, we're going to start now just exploring, just being able to extend out the exhale. So all you're going to do is just start to notice your exhale. Focus more on your exhale. And without actually lengthening it anymore yet, just see if you can follow that whole length of what your exhale is. Follow it all the way down to that end of that breath. And as you start to be aware of your exhale, as you follow it down that end, bottom bit of the breath, just see if you can find that place where you maybe draw your attention inwards more. And just notice what that feels like as you really just follow your exhale. So you might just keep your awareness here, or if it feels good, very gently you're going to explore just allowing your exhale to become a little bit longer. So we're not adding no counts in the breath today. We're just simply allowing that exhale to gently start to open up. We're not forcing the breath. We're not straining it. We're keeping the shoulders and the chest as relaxed as we can. So we're going to stay here for another 20 to 30 breaths. Just keep focusing a bit more on your exhale. So as you let your exhale gently lengthen out, just see if you can really relax your body with every exhale that you take. Allow the body to become heavy. Really feel your contact with the earth with every exhale as it just gently lengthens out. Feel that release, maybe that feeling of being able to relax, being able to let go. And still focusing on that exhale. Every exhale that you take, just see if you can soften your face a little bit more. So with every exhale, we're allowing our eyes to really relax. We're allowing our skin on the face to soften more. We're feeling what it actually feels like to be able to relax the face. I'm going to spend just a few more moments here. Not straining, just noticing how that exhale can start to lengthen a bit more. So when we're able to lengthen out your exhale, you naturally put yourself in a calmer state of being. And if you consciously work towards lengthening out your exhale, even if you might find yourself that you are in a stressful situation, if you are able to relax the body but still be able to just work towards lengthening out the exhale, you kind of trick yourself really to put yourself into really just this calm state of being, knowing that everything is okay. And when we can lengthen out the exhale, that's really what it's telling us, that everything is okay. And the body responds really well to this. The mind responds really well to this. Just making this your last rounds from here. And then just return back to your natural breath and just simply be aware of what your breath feels like now. Maybe you feel a feeling that it has just gently lengthened out. You may have even felt what it feels like to just be a little bit calmer, noticing how we can change things with our breath, especially the exhale. When you're ready, just having a nice stretch out from here. So if the legs are bent, feel free to lengthen them away as you take a really good stretch from here. Just noticing what it feels like on the arms. If it feels okay, you can interlock the fingers. If it still feels okay, press your palms away from you, spread your toes, pressing into the heels, just creating a bit of length. And then soften and release, releasing the fingers, bringing the arms down by the sides of the body. You can begin to let your legs bend from here and let your knees come in towards the chest. And take a moment just to gently rock from side to side, just easing out the back from here. Good. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly let your legs come to the floor. Take your feet as wide as your mat, and we'll start off just with those twists. So we'll bend the arms, we'll cactus the arms, palms facing up. If you've got room to do so, reach the arms out to the side. And take a time just to let your knees drop towards the right side, moving onto the edges of the feet as you let your head slowly turn towards the opposite side. And just hold it here for a few breaths. Focus on your exhale. Can you naturally allow your exhale to become just a little bit longer? Good. And then slowly coming back to the centre. Inhale, and as you breathe out, we'll drop your knees over to the left side. Let your head slowly turn towards the right side. Focus on your exhale again a bit more. Can you allow yourself to bring the minds and the body in a state of more relaxation just through that lengthening out the exhale? Good. And then slowly coming back to the centre from here. You're going to let your arms release down by the sides of the body. You're going to take your feet hip distance apart still. You can walk your feet in a little bit closer, and we'll do a couple of rounds of bridge. So let your arms be down by the sides of the body. You're just going to slowly inhale, allow your spine to lift away from you, so your hips are lifting up. And as you breathe out, slowly release your spine all the way down to the floor. Just doing that a couple more times, inhaling to lift up. And exhaling, nice long exhale to bring the spine all the way back down. We'll do one more, then we're going to hold it up this time. If you need to flow it, that's fine, but if it feels okay, let the arms lift, the fingertips might reach up towards the sky, or if it feels okay, we can take the arms behind us and maybe just widening the arms into a nice V shape, letting the shoulders relax, still working into the feet, just feel a nice release, maybe around your hips area. And then breathing out, we'll start off taking your arms down. And then when you're halfway, slowly let your spine release down. Take a moment just to draw the knees in towards the chest and just having that slow rock from side to side. We're going to work our breath. We're going to think about using that really nice long exhale for the next bit. So you're going to lengthen out your legs from here. If it doesn't feel good, keep the legs bent. We can do the same movement with the legs bent. Make sure you've got room to reach out the arms. And so you're going to inhale, raise the arms. If you can, have the palms so they face up towards the sky. Back of the hands onto the floor from here. And then breathing out, you're going to draw the right knee in towards the chest, holding around the shin, drawing it in. And then the inhale, we're going to release that leg, taking the arms behind us. And then breathing out, you're going to take your left leg in, hold around the shin, drawing it towards you. And then carry on working from side to side. The inhale, lets the arms lift and lets the legs lengthen. And then really take a nice exhale. Think about lengthening out that exhale. Every last bit of breath out as the knee draws towards you. That inhale, nice full breath as we raise the arms again behind. Legs lengthen. And the exhale, taking your left knee in towards the chest. So just doing a couple more now in your own time, in your own breath. Try to really think about a little bit more today your exhale. Think about that feeling of releasing and letting go around your hip joints from here. So really using your power of the breath, the power of that exhale, maybe to soften a bit more around that hip area. Feel that you empty your lungs fully so that when you raise the arms, you take and invite a new, fresh breath into the body. Go just a couple more from here. Good, and making this your last one now. Good, and then just hugging both knees back in towards the chest. Just having that rock from side to side. And then when you're ready, rolling over onto one side or hands behind the legs. You can always rock backwards and forwards if it works for the back, and coming all the way up to seated from here. Good. So we're going to bring ourselves sitting down to the bottoms, and we'll come straight into our Baddha Konasana pose, cobbler pose, seated. So we're going to bring the soles of the feet together. And you might find that it's better to take them further away, but if it does feel okay, allow them to move in a little bit closer towards you. And you can support, if you've got anything with you, cushions, any support, then prop underneath your knees from here if that makes it more comfortable. And allow yourself just to lift up from here. And don't worry, for many of us, the knees are going to be quite high, so don't worry at all where they are. Just try to focus more on just relaxing. Use your breath now. Use those nice long exhales to focus your attention around the hips. And breathe in, feeling that sense of releasing and letting go. Good. Keep your shoulders nice and relaxed. And we can either stay nice and upright from here with our hands exactly where they are. We'll take an option coming forward in a minute. If it does work, we can imagine that your feet are like the pages of a book that we're going to open from here. So if it works, you can take the thumb underneath the foot, on the ball of the foot, fingers around the sides, and then you use that to open out. So I find when I do that myself, I find there's more release, more external rotation in the hips. So you can let your feet, actually, they start to come apart, the top parts of them. Good. Just notice what that feels like, and you might be quite happy just sitting up here. I'm just going to turn this way so you can see when I do actually come forward. If you haven't got any back issues, if it does work for you today, you might allow yourself to take a journey to come forward from here. And if you've got hold of the feet, you can always draw your elbows forward from here, let them soften. You can let the head release. If you need to release the hands, you can always take the hands out in front. And just take a moment just to soften and fold. Notice where you're holding any tension or tightness. If you notice it, just take your attention and breathe into those places. Good. And then if you've been lowered down to the floor, we're going to slowly start to lift up. So just slowly start to bring yourself up so your spine's nice and lengthened again. Take your hands underneath the knees, taking them back so your feet are back down to the floor. And just notice that gentle closing as the feet come back down. And then when you're ready, just drop your knees to one side and then bring yourself all the way over onto your all fours from here. So you want nice spread hands from here, knees underneath the hips. We're going to allow ourselves to come straight into our downward dog. So if you do want to swap it to your puppy pose today, you can always walk your hands forward and release down towards the floor. If you're doing the full downwards dog, hands are spread, knees are tucked underneath the hips. You're going to lift your knees away from the floor and then taking some weight back towards the heels. And just take a moment to gently walk out through the legs from here. And checking to make sure that the head's okay. Maybe just gently moving your head gently just from side to side from here. So we're going to work into our 3-leg downwards dog. If you do need to do an option where you come down to knees and forearms, you can do that option instead. It's going to be the right leg first of all. So you're going to lift up and lengthen your right leg away from you. And you don't want your leg to lift too high. So you're going to keep it hip distance, going to press out into that leg. And if it works, going to do a nice hip opener. You're going to bend your right knee from here, right leg. And then you're going to open that knee out towards that right side. Your foot comes over towards that opposite side. You can either keep your head to the centre or you can look up and under. And if it does work from there, you might allow yourself just to make a few circles with your knee in one direction. Good. And then circling out in the other direction from here. Good. And then start to slowly bring your knee back towards the floor. Lengthen that leg, come down with that foot. Before we do that other side, you're going to come all the way down to the floor. You're going to slowly sink back into your child's pose. Take a moment to hold it here. Focus on your breath, and as you breathe, send some attention to your hips. Can you allow yourself to lengthen out your exhale a little bit more? And feel with that exhale, you start to soften and release a bit more into the hips. Good. And then when you're ready, slowly ease back into your all fours position. We'll get ready to do that on the other side. So your option, if you did it on your forearms and your knees, come down to that one. If you're doing it from downward dog, you're going to lift up again into your downward dog position. Make sure you do your opposite leg this time, so it's your left leg. So your left leg's going to lengthen away from you. You're going to press into that leg. If you can, toes drawing down. Try and give that leg a nice stretch from here. And if it works, you're going to bend that leg. You're going to draw that knee out towards that left side. Head can either stay where it is or you can look underneath that left side. Try to have even weight on your hands. If it feels good, just start to make a few circles with your knee from here. Circling in one direction and then circling out in the other direction. Good. And then coming back to the centre, extend out with that leg. Lower that leg. And come down to the floor from here. If it feels okay this time, you're going to sit back to your heels. You're going to open your knees nice and wide for a wider variation of child's pose. If that doesn't work, keep everything closer together. You can have your toes crossed if that feels okay. Maybe having your heels, think about your heels in contact with the bottom. You can support pad if you need to with a blanket. Just take a moment to slowly start to walk forward from here. Good. And then when you can't go anymore, just soften and release. Let your head release. If you're experiencing any tightness, any tension around your shoulders, you can either bend the arms in more or you can fold the arms. You can support the head if you need to. Think about your breath from here. So nice, long, slow breaths, especially focusing on your exhale. Good. And then slowly lifting up the head. Use your hands and that strength to press yourself back into that all fours position. Let your toes face back from here. Let your hands come slightly forward of the shoulders. And lowering yourself all the way down to the floor. We're going to do either a cobra or your sphinx. So if you're working with your back today, if you're being cautious, then take your arms nice and wide, hands forward of the shoulders for your sphinx. If you're okay to do cobra, hands underneath the shoulders. You're going to press your feet down, engage the legs. You're going to slowly inhale from here. And it might be sphinx. It might be baby cobra. Or we might even be able to press a little bit more into the hands and feel this nice expansion of the chest, feeling the stretch going across your hips as well. Just take a moment just to breathe. Good. And then slowly bending the arms, you're going to lower yourself all the way down to the floor. Hands underneath the shoulders, you can tuck the toes under, press back to the all fours. You're going to press yourself up again into your downward dog position. Head nice and relaxed. Give it a nice release from here. And then when you're ready, bending the legs slowly. Walk your feet towards the hands. You're going to take your hands on the hips and we'll lift up. So coming all the way up to standing from here. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Just take a moment just to let your shoulders release. Feel what it feels like actually to relax your shoulders. Then allowing your shoulders just to roll forward. So you're going to separate the feet. So we'll stay on that long side of the mat. We're going to open out the feet from here into our nice wide legged forward fold from here. So legs are coming apart, feet to the front. You can turn your big toes in slightly from here. You'll take a nice breath to lift up. As you breathe out, you're going to slowly allowing yourself to come forward from here. And you might be staying halfway, or it might feel good just to fold the arms. It might feel nice to take the hands down to the floor and let your head be nice and heavy. Just gently move the head from side to side from here. Good. And then slowly lifting up with your head. Hands on the hips, and we'll move all the way up to standing. So just heel toe your feet back in together. Good. Just come to mountain posture for a few breaths. And just work a balance from here. So do be near a wall if you need to be near a wall, a hand or your back near the wall. You'll take a moment just to focus on the breath and focus on thinking about your exhale as well, nice long exhales. You're going to take all the way onto your left foot. You're going to bend your right leg from here. And we're going to hold around either the shin or behind the back of the leg. And we're just going to allow ourselves to lift up from here, shoulders nice and relaxed. Good. And think about exhaling, that nice long exhale without straining at all. If it feels okay, your left hand's going to come onto the hip. Your right hand's going to be there to gently open up your hip from here. If it feels okay, you can start to make a few circles with your ankle, or you might feel better to keep it still. And then circling out in the other direction from here. Good. And then slowly easing that knee back to the centre. Hands on the hips, and let that foot place all the way down to the floor. If you need to release the legs, you can do that. When you're ready, we'll repeat the same on the other side. So all the weight's going to go into your right leg. Let your gaze point, just look at something still. You're going to slowly lift up with your left leg from here. You're going to hold either around the shin or behind the back of the leg. Or I forgot to say, if your balance is not quite there today, just take your toes out in front and your toes down to the floor, and you can work the same from there. If you've got your hands around your shin or behind the thigh, don't let the shoulders lift. Think about softening the shoulders. Bit of a micro bend in that standing leg so we're not locking it out. And we might be quite comfortable just thinking about standing here. Or if it works, adding that extra hip opener so your right hand goes onto the hip. Going to slowly open out that knee of that left side. Going to just notice what that feels like on that side. Can you use your nice long slow exhales from here? It might feel good to make those few circles now with your ankle in one direction first. Good. And then circling out in that other direction from here. Good. And then when you're ready, slowly start to bring that knee back and replacing that foot down to that floor. And feel that sense of release as the feet come back down. Take a moment to just hold that mountain posture, either separating the feet or you can keep them closer together if that feels right. Shoulders up to the ears, and then roll your shoulders back and down. And just pause for a moment from here. Let yourself be grounded. Let yourself be present. Just focus on your breath. And with every exhale, can you feel that you soften your shoulders a little bit more? With every exhale, can you feel that you soften your face a little bit more? What does it feel like for you in order to relax? What does that actually feel like? Good. When you're ready, let your eyes gently blink open. And you're just going to bring yourself to the front of the mat from here. I'm going to work a warrior position. So warrior one, we're going to step back with your right foot from here. So your left leg's going to be bent. You want to check out your hips, make sure that they are facing in that front direction. So adjust that back foot if you do need to allow your hips to come round. Good. Take even weight onto the feet, drawing into the navel. If it feels good, we're going to raise the arms. We're going to lift up the arms. If it's okay on the shoulders today, take the arms nice and wide, lifted. So into more of a V shape, so your shoulders can relax. And if it feels good, you might even sink just a little bit lower from here. Nice, easy breaths. Good. And then cactus the arms from here. Let the arms bend back. If it does feel okay for the back, lift in the chest a bit more so you turn it into a bit of a back arch. Good. And then slowly soften, release. You're going to step your back foot in and bring it all the way to the front from here. You're going to do the same on the other side. So you're going to step back with your left leg from here. Right leg is bent, knee over your ankle. You're going to work towards allowing your hips to start to slowly come round towards the front. Navel draws in, you're going to press into the feet. You're going to raise the arms from here, and if it feels good, lifting up the arms again. Take a moment to do a nice V shape with the arms, just to encourage your shoulders to relax a little bit more. What does it feel like to allow your shoulders just to soften a bit more? So working with those hips, if it feels good, you can sink a little bit lower. Don't let that alignment move away from that knee over your ankle. And then cactus the arms from here. If it feels good, you might think about lifting your chest from here, so you do a bit of a back arch, or you might stay upright if you've got back issues. Good, and then slowly releasing from here. You're going to step your back foot into the front and just pause for a moment. From here, we're going to separate our feet hip distance apart. We're going to come down to the floor, so we're going to take the hands on the hips. We're going to soften the knees. We're going to start to hinge at the hips, so our sit bones are lifting up towards the sky. Just finding halfway, first of all. Think about all that length that you're creating in the front of the body and your spine. And then if it feels good, slowly folding forward and just catching hold of opposite elbow. Just gently sway from side to side from here. Good. And just feel that you ease into those sides of the body with your swaying. Good. And then slowly release, bend your legs, and we'll come all the way down to the floor. Let yourself come to a nice, easy seated position from here. So the legs can be crossed. If it's unable for you to cross the legs, just lengthen out the legs. So we're going to start off taking your right leg. We're going to do a bit of work into your hips, a really nice one that releases, so you're rocking the baby pose. So you can take one hand, your left hand onto that foot and your right hand onto the knee, and all you're doing is just slowly easing into that hip from here. Good. Using nice, long, slow breaths. So you can work it a bit more. This might be enough where you're working it, or it might feel good to lift that leg a little bit higher. Try to keep upright in the spine though. It might feel good if you could maybe to bring that leg a bit closer towards you. If you brought that leg closer towards you, you can always hook that elbow so that you take that foot onto the crook of the elbow. You can take that other hand around and you can think about from here, lifting up. You can make that foot active, you can draw it in again, and then think about rocking the baby. Nice, long, slow breaths. Just feel that you get into those hips today, releasing any tension, any tightness. Lovely. And then slowly start to release. So we'll swap over legs. So we'll let that other leg cross or allow it to lengthen out. Just start off gentle first of all, so your right hand can come underneath the foot, left hand underneath the knee to support. We'll just slowly just start to gently rock to ease into that hip. And we've got our options again to work it a little bit more, depending on what our hips are feeling like today and what's going on. If it works, you can maybe lift it up a little bit higher. Next option would be to bring it a bit closer towards you. So if you've done that and there's availability there for you, you can always take that foot into the crook of your right elbow, holding around that leg, hands around that side, and lifting up from here. You make that foot active if it feels good, and just gently press as you just ease into that hip. You don't need to do these movements too fast. Good. Lovely. And then when you're ready, slowly allowing yourself to release that foot from here. Take a moment just to sit nice and upright. So we're going to do a little bit of work, final posture, into our pigeon pose. So we can either do it on the floor or we can flip the pigeon over if that option doesn't work for you. So the floor version would be maybe where your belt comes in handy. Is where you're going to come down to the floor. We'll start off with your right leg, and you take that option where you cross that foot over the leg. You make that foot nice and active, and you gently press that leg away from you. The option here is to bend that leg and reach your hands through that thigh, so you hold on from here. Or you can hold around your shin from here. If you find that the shoulders tense up, this is when belts come in really handy. So take your belt around that leg, and you can use that then to ease, or even all the way around your thigh from here. So if you're doing that option, we're going to stay with that one. Do your right one first of all. If you're going to come to your pigeon posture, the one that's more upright, you're going to allow yourself to, I find it easier to come to downward dog from here, and you can grab your blanket as well. You might need a blanket for this one. You're going to bend that right leg, so you're going to take that right knee behind that right wrist. You're going to start to sink back from here. This is when your blanket might come in really handy, where you can pad underneath that bottom from here. So often what happens is you collapse over to that side. And if you're quite comfortable with this posture, if you're familiar with this one, and your hips allow you to do so, you can always extend that front leg further away from you. You might just check that, make sure that other leg is lengthened from here. So you can either hold it here, it's often quite strong on the back, as you probably see, it's quite a back arch from here. If it felt an option, you might allow yourself to come forward. If you've got any support, any blocks or anything like that, you can always allow your head to rest on the block from here. We're just going to hold it here for a nice few breaths. Just focus on your exhale from here. Nice, long, slow exhales. Think about softening, releasing, letting go. Can you use that power of that exhale wherever you are to just think about releasing into that hip from here? Good. So when you're ready, we'll slowly release off that side. So just allow yourself, if you've come in, if you're lying on the back, just release, foot down and the foot to the floor. If you've actually come from the seated position, you're going to allow yourself just to roll just to that right side, sweeping that leg back, and then you're back to a cross-leg position. If that's okay, you're going to come to the other side. So if you're in the floor version, you're going to take your left leg across the thigh this time. You can do your actions of pressing your right hand away from the knee or taking that leg in. Or if you're coming from downwards dog, it's going to be your left leg this time. Knee is going to come just behind that wrist. You can let that other leg extend out. You can use your blanket to support underneath that knee from here. You can either keep that foot where it is. You can always walk it out slightly if it was an option to do so. And then take a moment either to stay upright, or if it feels good, it'd be a nice sense of release if you've done that one as you start to slowly come forward down to the floor. And all we're going to do is hold it here for a few breaths. Focus on your exhale now. All that we've been learning in the class about using that power of that exhale. Just see if you can use that. So whatever version you're in from here, and that's the beauty of yoga, that there's so many options that you can do, so you can find something that actually works for your body. Just a couple more nice, long, slow breaths. And then we'll slowly release out of that posture. If you've come down from the back, just release that leg, take that foot across, And just bring the feet to the floor. If you're in that other version, you're going to slowly, let me do it the same way so I know which way we're going. You're going to drop over to that side. Just swing the legs out in front and bring your feet down to the floor. And then we'll join the others if they're on the floor. We'll all roll down from here. So take a moment and grab anything that you need. If you need something warmer now, just rolling slowly, slowly down to the floor. Just allow everyone to just hug their knees in towards the chest and just slowly let yourself release just from side to side. Just easing out into the back. You can always take your legs to the floor, feet as wide as the mat. Just cactus the arms and for a few breaths, just work your twist from here. So drop your knees to one side. Let your head slowly turn to the opposite. And then slowly come back to the centre with your head and the knees. And as you breathe out, drop your knees all the way over to that left side. Well, not all the way over, just see wherever they take you. Good. And then slowly come back to the centre. Just release the arms. And we're going to get ready just to relax for a few minutes. So you can either keep the legs bent from here, or if it feels good, allow your legs to slowly lengthen out from here. And just take a moment to let the body relax. Just scan the body. Just notice where you can relax a little bit more. Can you allow your forehead to soften a little bit more from here? Can you allow your face to relax a little bit more? Just noticing your shoulders, allowing your shoulders just to relax. Let your belly start softening and releasing. So we paid extra attention today to the hips. So just let yourself notice what the hips feel like. How do they feel? Without judging, you might be aware of the areas that you've worked today into the hips. Begin to just let your breath be natural. So don't change your breath at all. Let your breath be natural. Just simply be the observer of your breath. And just notice whenever a thought comes in, or it might be a noise, or it might be a past memory, something that pops in the head. When you notice it, just be aware of it. And then just give it permission just to go. If it's important, it will come back later. Just feel that stillness, that calmness of the body. Moving in the postures now, just to feel the body be still. So if you would prefer to relax a little bit longer, just let yourself be here, let yourself relax for as long as you like so that the body can just settle. But if you're ready to, just slowly start to connect to the breath again. Just let your fingers wriggle, let your toes wriggle. Just taking a really nice stretch from here, raising the arms behind you. Breathing out, let your arms come down by the sides of the body. You're going to let your legs slowly bend from here. We'll hug the knees in towards the chest, gently rocking from side to side. And then when you're ready, slowly roll over onto the right side of the body and just come up into your comfortable seated position. Just take that awareness just into how you feel right now and how the yoga makes you feel, how the breathing makes you feel. Being aware of maybe how you can use that exhale in any situations where you need to bring more calmness in. Just think about gently lengthening out that exhale. Let your palms lift up towards the sky. You're going to take a nice inhale. Raise the arms above the head. Bring your palms together. And as you breathe out, bring your hands all the way down towards your chest, the heart center. Slowly bow your head down towards the hands, connecting the mind with the body, the spirit and the breath. Let your eyes softly blink open. And as you inhale, lift your head, lift your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you all next time.